welcome back to the Toal channel. If you're new here, I'm Laurient, and my husband Mike and I make videos all about our infertility and adoption journeys, as well as lifestyle videos and family vlogs. So for today's video, it's just gonna be really laid back, and I'm gonna be sharing 7 things that we really need to stop saying to people and couples struggling with infertility. Now, as somebody that has been struggling with infertility for over 3 years now, I have heard all of these things. I still hear all of these things, and I'm tired of hearing all of these things. And I know that a lot of other people that are in similar situations feel the same way. And unfortunately, I feel like infertility is one of those things that we just don't talk about a ton in our society. I think it's starting to be brought more into the light, and people are really starting to shed more awareness on, which I think is great, because I think that the reason things like this are said to people is truly because people are ignorant to the situation and they just don't know that what they're saying isn't helpful. I think a lot of people aren't coming from like a bad place. I think they think that they're giving words of encouragement or they're trying to be positive, but really, like, these are things that we hear over and over again and we're just tired of hearing, and truthfully, they're not helpful in any sense. Like, they're not helpful in helping us achieve our goals, and they're not helpful in encouraging. And actually, a lot of the times they do the total opposite of encourage, and they actually end up really hurting our feelings or just kind of bringing us down. So the first thing on the list of things we have to stop saying to people struggling with infertility is just relax. You're too stressed. Guys, we were relaxed. We started this journey very relaxed. We started this journey very excited and hopeful. But after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, like, you're not relaxed anymore. After year 1 and it hasn't happened, or a year and a half, like, you're not relaxed anymore. But, you know, people still say that, and truthfully, it's not helpful. Like, listen, when we're trying, I'm very relaxed. But that's not necessarily what scientifically helps you get pregnant. Like, yes, if you are very stressed, that's never a good thing, but I highly doubt that having, like, some worries about whether it will or will not happen that particular month, or like, did we try enough this month, or did we miss our day because I misread my OPK? Like, I don't think that stress is enough stress or like a really stressful enough stress to make your body shut down and make it difficult to get pregnant. I just don't think it's the same as maybe some like really traumatic stress. Maybe you had a lot going on with your family, maybe somebody passed away and that's been really hard on you. Like, that kind of stress probably really affects your body internally. I don't think worrying about, you know, whether you baby danced enough that month or that cycle is enough stress to really cause those issues. And I know that people say like, oh, my cousin finally relaxed and it happened, but guys, it's just not a helpful thing to say. Number 2 is maybe the timing is wrong. Like, maybe you weren't meant to be parents right now. Or the flip side to that is like, oh, it's in God's hands. I mean, maybe the timing is wrong, but it's not helpful to say to somebody. It'll happen when it happens. Like, that's another one that kind of is within the same vein of, you know, maybe the timing is just not right or whatever. Nobody wants to hear that. And nobody wants to hear that. It just doesn't make anybody feel really very good about anything. I would probably just recommend steering clear of that one. And, you know, we've heard it before. Like, we've heard it. So the third thing on my list is probably my least favorite thing to hear, and I've probably heard it just shy of 1,000,000 times, and that's, maybe you should just stop trying. It'll just happen when you stop trying. No, that's not true. I mean, maybe it worked out that way for, you know, your sister-in-law's cousin's best friend, but that doesn't mean that that's how it happens for everybody. In the 3 years that we've been struggling with our infertility, there have been plenty of times where we've taken breaks 3-month-long, 4-month-long breaks where we weren't actively trying, we weren't actively protecting against, we were just going with the flow. We were starting new jobs, or it was the holidays and there were just other things going on. We just weren't actively focusing. I wasn't checking to see what my temperature was. I wasn't taking OPKs. I wasn't even taking note of like what days I was ovulating through like my apps. I was just letting it go, doing what we did when we felt like doing it, and really wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to it for several different periods throughout our 3 years of trying to conceive, and still nothing. And you want to know why? Because trying to have a baby comes down to a lot more biology and science than just not trying. The next one is you're young and you have plenty of time. So when we started trying, we were 25 and 26. So yeah, pretty young. I've always wanted to be a younger mom. I didn't envision myself starting my family even as late as I am at this point. I always thought that I'd have like my first kid by like 26, you know, maybe my second before I was 30. And I always wanted like 3 or 4 kids. And I really envisioned getting this all knocked out pretty early. So starting early I thought was the best way, because I was like, we're both going to be very healthy. We're both going to be in good physical shape. Everything will be in perfect working order. And it just didn't work out that way. So telling me that I'm young and everything should be okay, I'm healthy, I have plenty of time, is not the case, because we are young and we did start early. And yeah, it felt like we had plenty of time, and then 3 years went by like that. Like you blinked and all of a sudden you were 3 years in and still no baby. So yeah, you think you have plenty of time, but the older you're getting, the less great shape you might be in, the less great working order your inside, you know, reproductive organs might be. Eggs start to diminish and deteriorate, and just things happen. I started this process young because I wanted to have kids young, not because I was hoping to have my first one by the time I'm 40. Another thing I can't stand when people say is like, don't rush it. You're so lucky you can do XYZ without kids. XYZ is usually something like you can go on vacation without kids, or you get 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep at night because you don't have babies waking you up, or just like everything. Like everything I'm so lucky that I can do without kids. And I think when people say that, they're trying to make light of the situation. They're trying to make a joke out of it, let you know that parenting is hard, like enjoy this quiet time while it lasts. But what they don't understand is people like me who have infertility issues, we would do anything to have, you know, those chaotic family vacations, and we want to see Christmas through the eyes of our children and see how excited they get. You know, nights of interrupted sleep, like sure, I'm sure that would be exhausting, but I would love to be up late, able to nurse my baby back to sleep and hold them and be the person that they want to be with. Like I would do anything for those moments. So please don't tell me how hard it is and how lucky it is that I don't have to do that right now. Another thing that really sucks to hear is when a friend or somebody really close to you tells you that they're pregnant and they follow it up with a, I'm sorry. Or worse, they just don't tell you because they're scared it's gonna hurt your feelings. I just wanna say like, hey guys, I'm infertile, not a horrible person. I'm still able to feel joy and happiness for people that are able to conceive and carry a child. Like that's still a miracle. It's still a great thing. All women struggling with infertility are not bitter people angry at the women that are able to conceive, or like the fertile myrtles of the world. Like we're not upset about it. I mean, maybe some people are, maybe I shouldn't speak for all of us, but all the women that I've known that struggle, myself, I don't ever feel bitter for anybody. Like yes, there is that sting that you might feel that it's like, well, when is it going to be my turn? But it never takes away from how happy I am for somebody else. Like I've experienced so many people in my life that have gotten pregnant and given birth in the time that I'm still sitting here childless. My sister-in-law got pregnant twice and delivered 2 happy, healthy baby boys, my nephews, and I don't think I ever at any point was like upset that she was pregnant and I wasn't. Never been a thing. Last, but definitely not least, probably one of the worst things that you can say to somebody who is struggling with infertility.
Well, you can always just adopt.
I touched upon this one briefly in our last video, which I will link below and leave a card up top. It was a video about why we were choosing adoption over pursuing infertility treatments, as something that I've heard people say time and time again. In our case, it was a little bit different because we found out that we had infertility issues, and instead of pursuing infertility treatments, after our testing, we decided to put a break on it, and then ultimately we decided to move forward with adoption instead. We just felt like that was the right path for us in that moment. If you're interested in hearing more about that, again, you can watch the video. But so on our side of it, we heard a lot more about like, why aren't you trying infertility treatments? Why aren't you trying IUIs and IVFs first? Like, don't you want to have a biological child? We got a lot more of that. But a lot of people that pursue infertility treatments and have had failed cycles of, you know, IUIs and IVFs and have done, you know, their trigger shots and their hormones and everything else, they've heard these things from people, because it's like, you're putting yourself through so much. I mean, you can always just adopt. And I think adoption's great. I am an advocate. I have learned so much in all of the research that I've been doing and all of the people that I've been talking to. And it's a lifelong journey that is a little scary, but I'm so excited to take. So if anybody was considering it or wanted to talk about it, I would, and I would definitely encourage them if they felt ready in their hearts to do it. But that's the key there. You have to feel ready to be able to do that. And somebody who deeply, deeply wants to experience pregnancy and being able to carry a child and deliver a child, if that's something that's deep within somebody, that's not something that they're just ready to give up after failed cycles of whatever. Like, that might not be something that somebody is ever ready to give up on, and to just throw infertility to the side like it's not a big deal and like, don't worry, there's always this other option. I mean, first of all, they know that. They know that they can adopt, but don't say just adopt like it's an easy thing to do. I mean, there's mountains of paperwork. The waiting alone can give you a heart attack and everything else. It's not an easy process. It's a hard process. It's just a different hard process. So don't make it seem like that's the easy thing to do, because it isn't. But also, it might not just be the right thing for that couple or that person. And it's just a really terrible thing to do, whether you feel like it's a supportive thing to say. It's just really not. At this point in the video, you might be thinking to yourself, well, like, Laurient, what can we say to our friends that are struggling with infertility? Like, we know everything now that we shouldn't say, but what are we allowed to actually say that's not gonna hurt people's feelings? There's actually like a ton of things that you can say. You can just ask that person how they're doing. How are they feeling? What are their feelings as they're going through this? Like, they might want to talk about it and they might just feel like they can't, or like they would bore you, or like you just don't want to hear, they don't want to burden you with that. Just be there for them. Be a shoulder for them. Be a safe place for them to talk and confide, and don't judge them for the things that they say. I hope that if you are watching this and you know somebody or you love somebody that is struggling with infertility, that you've picked up a few pointers on things that you shouldn't say, and maybe how you should speak to them and interact with them about their infertility going forward. And if you're watching this and you're somebody who is struggling through infertility, I hope that you were able to identify with the things that I'm saying. I hope you were able to find the humor in them and roll your eyes and laugh like I usually do when I do hear these things. I know it's kind of like a running joke between myself and other friends that I have that are struggling, and we're just like, oh, so-and-so said this, can you believe it? Like, it kind of just becomes humorous after a while, because you just get so used to hearing it. It's like you're keeping a tally of how many times somebody tells you to just relax. But I hope you found some humor in it and it lightened up your day a little bit. And I hope that you keep moving forward on your journey to become a parent, however you want that to happen for you. If you have any comments about things that you wish people would stop saying to you about your infertility, please leave them below. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. It really helps out our channel and we'd really appreciate it. If you haven't already, maybe you could just click subscribe and you can join our journey as we adopt our first child through a domestic infant adoption. We would love to have you as part of the Toal tribe. Until next time, guys, bye.